Hi everyone! Today's video is all about UX portfolios. I'm going to answer 8 common questions to help you build a stellar portfolio. My name is Soy and I'm a UX designer at Google. Welcome to my channel. On my channel, I am dedicated to all things about UX job interviews and product design. I'm also offering one-on-one career coaching to help you nail your next job interview. I did a calculation of how many one-on-one career coaching sessions I've done were portfolio related. Recently, I have done 5 one-on-ones. In the 5 one-on-ones, one was a whiteboard exercise mock interview, one was a behavioral question prep, and all 3 others were portfolio critiques. So it is no longer a secret that a UX portfolio is the most important part of a UX job application. I've got so many questions about what is a UX design portfolio. Nobody taught me how to build a design portfolio at school. What should I include in a portfolio? To help designers create the most important asset, which is a portfolio, I have decided to create a series of videos about how to create a good design portfolio and how to present your work. I want to be helpful like I always am. This video is the very first one in this series, so if you like this content, make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel. Also, please don't forget to hit the bell button so that you won't miss my future content. If you wanted to get more interview advice, do a mock interview, or just talk about career development in general, please use the link down below to sign up for a career coaching session with me. I've also put timestamps in these videos to help you easily navigate to questions you are most interested in. So let's get started to answer some common questions about portfolios. Question number 1. How to showcase your online portfolio on your resume? Portfolios are used by designers to showcase their skills and work to get hired. They contain case studies of past projects that demonstrate what they have done and how they work. On a resume, you could show a short link to your portfolio website. One thing I like to note is please don't hide your portfolio URL in an inline link. Because from an accessibility point of view, not everyone knows that an underline format is a clickable hyperlink. As a result, the recruiter or hiring manager who reads your resume might not know how to access your portfolio or thought you didn't have a portfolio. If they think you apply for a UX position without a portfolio, it's very likely they will not move forward in the interview process. I know some mentees mentioned to me that they use a shorter inline format to keep the resume looks clean. But a portfolio is the most important asset for any UX designers, and we want to make space to show the full URLs of our portfolios. I highly recommend using a short URL which is intuitive to search for. For example, you could include your name in the URL. And don't use a sequence of random letters as that's hard for people to search for a portfolio. Question number 2. In interviews, should I present an online portfolio or deck? In the past, designers usually presented their online portfolios in interviews, and people would spend most of their energies in polishing their online portfolios. Around 3 years ago, the trend of using portfolio decks to solicit UX employment started. Portfolio decks are a cross between traditional design portfolios and the pitch decks that startups use to raise money. As a matter of fact, in interviews, using a presentation deck would help you better structure your case studies and therefore allows you to tell a better story. A portfolio deck helps guide the conversation better than going through a less structured website. You can focus attention much more strongly on specific elements, screens, and points. And most importantly, from a technical perspective, it's easier to design the visual and structure of a portfolio in slides than in a website. Figma, Google Slides, and Keynote give you a lot of flexibility to design slides in a way you like, versus an online portfolio has certain restrictions on creating visual that's exactly how you want it to look like. I always think using deck in interviews is the proper way to present works because case studies on websites are just too wordy for good storytelling. Question number 3. If using a portfolio deck is preferred in presentation, do I still need an online portfolio? The answer is absolutely yes. When screening candidates, a recruiter usually starts off by reading candidates' resumes and checking out their portfolios. An online portfolio contains longer-form case studies in the style of blog posts, which includes narrative details of how you would present the case studies in person to help readers learn about your work, whereas a portfolio deck should be light in content by nature and will be difficult to help readers understand your work without you presenting it. One simple way to evaluate whether your online portfolio has sufficient details is testing with people who have never seen your portfolio. Ask them if they could easily understand and remember the case studies without you presenting the case studies to them. Question number 4. How many projects should I include in my portfolio? If you're a new grad or a student applying for a UX internship, a good rule of thumb is to have around 3 to 5 UX projects and keep those projects current. Please don't include a large number of projects with many of them not related to UX if you are applying for a UX role. Question number 5. How to select projects? Remember that attention spans online are short and you should try to make a strong impression quickly. You could select projects that you feel are most important or best represent your UX design skill set. You can select projects that showcase a variety of different UX design skills you have. The skills include, but not limited to, prototyping, wireframing, user flows, interaction design, visual design, information architecture, collaboration, user research, prioritization, time management, and leadership. And when presenting the projects, I usually make it crystal clear about what are some skills that I want to showcase in these projects. So, for example, I would say, this is the project we have made a huge impact. This is the project I want to demonstrate my leadership skills. And this is the project that's most complicated in terms of cross-team collaboration and the product scope. And I want to showcase how I tackle these challenges in my process. One common mistake a lot of people, especially new grads, would make when building portfolios is to include every project they have worked on in the past. This much of information may be overwhelming to a casual reader and risks disengaging them. Prioritize projects based on impact. Showcase projects that had a measured impact on the overall user experience, on key business metrics, and on the company's long-term strategy. Process. Feature projects with robust methodology because showing your design process is very important to help recruiters and hiring managers understand your level of UX expertise. Recency. Feature projects that were completed in the past few years. If you have many years of experience, try to find a balance between showing recent work and particularly influential projects from a long time ago. Question number 6. What to include in a project? First of all, there's no defined rules of what information you must show in your case study. It is very critical to, first of all, figuring out what exactly is the most shining element in your project. It could be, for example, your design process, the end result, or something else. And then define a structure that's going to help you highlight whatever that is most valuable in your case study. I'd like to share a list of information that I believe is very important to include for a case study. Project overview. What is the product you designed? What is the background? How you started the project? Who are the target audience, etc. What is the core user problem you solved? And what is the outcome? Challenges. A good story is engaging to readers because following along a protagonist's journey and seeing how they tackle difficult challenges is always exciting. To create better storytelling, you need to include the challenge you solved in your case study. Also, the reason we start to work on any project is to solve a problem. So outlining what challenge or problem you solve is the most essential part in a project. Your process. Elaborate on what specific design methods you choose and why you ended up choosing these methods instead of the other methods. Impact. Demonstrate any measured impact the project has on user experience, key business metrics, and the company's long-term strategy. Reflections. There's always a lot we could learn from doing projects. Reflect on what worked well and what could have been done better. Being able to summarize your learnings could demonstrate you are eager to grow and capability to achieve perfection. Question number 7. If none of my projects were launched, or I don't have any real work experience, how should I write about outcomes? Outcomes don't necessarily have to be numerical results. User testing results could be outcomes. Pushing a project to the next phase could also be an outcome. And of course, numerical results could be outcomes. A common mistake I've seen many people make is not including any information about outcomes in their portfolio. Basically, a case study ends as the design process ends. Please note that a case study without an outcome description is incomplete. It is very hard for people to determine whether or not a project is successful or not without seeing how the project goes. Question number 8. Does the visual of a portfolio or deck matter? Yes, it absolutely matters, and I learned the hard way. In my previous job search, I focused a lot on crafting a good story and structuring meaningful content. And as you all know, we're always busy as hell in job search. I didn't spend enough time to craft the visual look of my presentation deck as much as I should. One company rejected me, and their feedback was they were very impressed by my candidacy and they were about to extend me an offer. But after a few rounds of internal discussion, they decided to reject me. In their own words, while presentation polish isn't exactly something we pay a lot of attention to, it is noticeable. One thing I would recommend would be to keep an eye on slides consistency and pacing. I'd like to always remember what I said and pay extra attention to the craft of my portfolio and slides because I was so close to get an offer from them and eventually turned down due to not polishing slides enough, and it just felt frustrating. Okay, this is what I wanted to share with you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. If you think this video is helpful, please give it a thumb up and subscribe to my channel. This is the first video in the video series about portfolio and presentation deck. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time.